Hello, and welcome back to Tea with the Queens. I'm excited to be here yet again, interviewing an awesome woman and an awesome contributor to our country, contributor to ministry, and just a overall, just a sweet person that just contributes her heart to helping others. And I just look forward to her sharing with us her journey of her being in the military, her journey of transitioning into civilian life, and her journey into pastoral care. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring up Dr. Blanche Farrish.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Blanche Farrish, and I would like to thank Millicent for having me today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You, the Dr. Blanche Farrish. We finally get a chance to talk. We've been connected for about a year, and we got
Yes,
a chance to finally sit down and have a conversation. So it's great to meet you.
you
so,
as well. You as well.
so with that being said, since this is all about you, can you tell us a little bit about who Dr. Blanche Ferris is?
Yes, I'll be glad to. Dr. Blanche Farrish is a person, a human being that cares about everyone, and I'm always putting myself last to help others. And my goal is to fulfill my purpose that God put me on earth to do with the gift of serving and helping others.
Great. So with that, with helping others, what is it that you do now? Like, what is your brand? What is your brand? Basically, what is your brand? What do you do as far as helping? How it ties into Dr. Blanche Ferris?
Yes, my brand is to help people that's struggling with some type of mental illness to help bring joy back in their life. And I also like to give to people that are in need of money, food, or different things. So that's what I do on a daily basis. I'm out in the street helping people that's holding up signs that need money, and sometimes I minister them with a word of comfort to hopefully that they can get their mind in a better state, where they can go back to a normal life and function and see that this is a great world to live in.
Yes, it's funny because not saying funny that it's funny, but just the figure of speech that it's funny that someone does take the time out to reach out to those souls who are in the streets, who do not have food, who do not have a place to go, who don't have money, and may even need a prayer. A lot of times we walk past them, and when you think about a brand or you think about someone that is independently striving for themselves in entrepreneurship or whether it's ministry, what have you, you don't really think about the fact that they're going out into the streets, into the community, out there in the highways and the byways and actually working and pouring into people. Most times we're talking about building our business, building our brand, which is fine, which is good, but it's something about having a helping heart that makes a difference in this world. And that's why I was so excited when we got a chance to talk, because a lot of times we overlook the fact of how important it is to just really help individuals. And I myself, I as well, I don't really have the resources to go out every day to do that, but I do participate in outreach ministry, and that's where I get my biggest joy from when I'm
Yes.
doing outreach ministry. And part of that outreach ministry comes from me singing in a community professional choir. We have
Oh,
called Angel Outreach. That's where I get my joy from. And I love singing, but when we go out and we're feeding the homeless and we're passing out meals on the streets and we're ministering to them, we're going into like the Ronald McDonald House, serving the families there, or we're working at the food banks, or we're working at the clothing banks. That's where my joy comes from,
yeah.
and what it's about. And a lot of times, nothing wrong with building your business as far as entrepreneurship, but it's just so refreshing to give back. So, what brought you to that place of helping?
Well, actually, I've been in church all my life, and as I grew more, and you learn your spiritual gifts. And my every time I did the exam for my spiritual gifts, it always came back as serving or helping. And I'm like, yeah, that's who I really am. So as I grew, the Holy Spirit led me to do the things that I do, you know. So I go by what the Holy Spirit tells me to do. So I feel like that's my purpose, what God put me here for, and the Holy Spirit inside of me. It leads me into places where I need to go to help others.
That's amazing. So we're gonna back up because I know that you do that now, but I want to talk about what you did in the past, and that is serve our country. Let us know a little bit about Dr. Blanche as a soldier.
Okay. And a lot of my, um, the way I was raised impacted on how I treated others. My mom and dad and my grandmother, they taught me to treat others, you know, like I wanted to be treated. So as a soldier in the military, I still was always trying to do the right things and telling others to do the right thing. But I really joined the Army Reserves to help pay for my college because I had got a scholarship out of high school, but I didn't want to go the particular place they sent me. So I went on to school myself under a grant, but I needed more money. So this lady on my civilian job, she was like, I know a thing you can do. You can join the reserves. They'll help pay for your education. I was like, who, me? You know, I'm looking like I would never be in the military. Like I'm a lady, but she actually was a nurse in the military. But when I took the exam, the recruiter said I was better off at administrative, so I went into the administrative part of the Army Reserves. But that would lead me to the military, and you know, God had a way because I'm like, if I do 20 years, I'm gonna get out. Because you know, in the reserves, you have to, you don't get your pay till you're 60. But things kept happening when I got my 20 years in, and some man out of St. Louis where the reserve paperwork is kept, he was like, why would you get out? There's other opportunities in the reserves. Because I'm like, nah, I'm getting out at 20 years. So he led me to another program called the IMA program, which you choose your dates and stuff where you serve and you still get points. Then 9/11 hit.
Oh
That
yeah.
I served during the Pentagon during the 9/11. Then they gave us the opportunity where we can get our education paid for. And so by me serving during 9/11, I was able to pay for the rest of my education and get a stipend. So you was getting, they were paying you to go and paying for your school. So everything worked out well, you know. And my goal, I joined the military to pay for my education, not knowing it really was going to pay for my education. And that's how I was able to get the doctor degrees and things that I have.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Yes, yes,
Service. I was in the reserve. Well, I was full time first, then
yes,
reserve, then the National Guard. I didn't stay 20 years though. I didn't. I just didn't have
yeah.
the.
I actually did 30, I did 31 years.
Okay, see,
Yes.
remarkable. 31
Yeah.
years.
Because in the reserves, you can't draw your retirement pay anyway till you're 60.
Yeah,
And then the time that I went on active duty for 9/11, um, that counted. But still, I was considered a reserve soldier. But that post 9/11 GI Bill came out, that really paid for my education.
that's that's
Yeah.
that's wonderful. That is.
Yes.
So what you? So I noticed that on your bio, you went to civilian work, but you stayed with the government.
Yes.
To do with the government on the civilian side.
Okay. See, that was right out of high school. I became a civilian. I worked for the Department of the Navy. You know, I was like 18 years old. So once I entered the government, then when the lady convinced me at that job to join the reserves, I joined the reserves while I was still in the government. So when you go away for boot camp, you know, you come back to your job. So um, I, I, I stayed as a civilian, but I did my weekend warrior stuff, you know, on the weekends. And the only time, like during 9/11, I had to physically leave that job because, you know, the president called us up.
Yeah.
So that's when I went on full time, like you were, during that time, but then when you return back, you still go back to your civilian status. So I was dual headed. I had my civilian going on and my military at the same time. So I actually retired out of both of them around
Okay.
the same time with 31 years each, so 62 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so God had to plan that for me. The civilian part I wanted, but I never really planned the military part. So
Okay.
God knew what I needed, and I stuck to His plan.
So, so in your education, I know you talk about them paying for your schooling. So,
Yeah,
what a little bit about your education because it's massive.
this gonna be funny. The school Strayer that I was in when I was a civilian, right before I joined the military, I ended up couldn't stay in there because I couldn't afford it. But to make a long story short, I got my master's there later on because the military paid for it. So I've been in school all my life, but I started at school at 18. But I couldn't finish it because I didn't have the money. But when I graduated straight in my 50s, the same school, I'm like, okay, this worked out. I got my master's from Strayer University. Yeah, but it took me years to get it. The military, my master's and my doctorate, except for one of them, the military paid for all that.
See, that's wonderful.
Yes,
And
yes.
what is your first doctorate in?
It's in pastoral counseling, and
Okay.
then the second one I just recently got with the TIUA school,
Yeah.
and I was like, do I really need this? Because I already had one. But since I was getting into the books, I went on Dr. Vanessa Blackwell. She told me about that school, so I went on with that one as well.
That's
So
good
I
though.
actually got two.
So, the
Yeah,
doctor,
yes.
that's wonderful. So, the one that you have in pastoral care. So, where did you get that doctor from? Where did you get that one from?
Actually, I got it from a seminary school.
Okay.
Yes, and you know, the main thing with that particular one, you had to write a paper. So actually, after I wrote the paper about it's called Newbury Seminary School,
Okay.
and it's and when I my paper I wrote on was about the power of God. So in my paper, I talked all about the names of God, and different attributes of God. So once I completed that paper, like some seminary schools, all you do have to write a paper versus academic schools. So I wrote a paper on the power of God. And then once my paper was finished, I said, I'm gonna make this out of a book on Amazon. So I went and made a electronic book out of it on Amazon. But when I got with Dr. Vanessa Blackwell, I liked the way they did their books more than I published my own on Amazon. I liked the way, she helped me more by the things that we did with that. So, yes.
So, tell us a little bit about your all the your writings and things
Yeah.
that you've done as far as being an author. Since
Yeah. So,
you self-published first on Amazon.
yes.
Okay, so that was the book you wrote in the doctorate program. Doc-
Yes. And it was called The Power of God. And it talked about the attributes of God, the names and different things. So when I got with I met Dr. Vanessa because I joined this military sorority, and that's how I met her. She actually was in the Sigma Phi Psi. So when she started sending emails about who want to be an author, and when I saw you didn't have to write much, I would like to try this because she made it so easy. But I wrote the name of my chapter is called "I Shout Hallelujah," but I actually got it from a song that I like watching TV because I look at, I listen to YouTube gospel songs. It was called I Raise a Hallelujah. And I really like that song, I Raise a Hallelujah, but I'm like, I can't take their information and put it in my book because they're going to say that I didn't ask them. So I changed it to I Shout Hallelujah. So basically, when I write, it's coming from things that I feel, things that I'm really trying to express because I was a person that I held everything inside. So now I'm like, well, I can express what I'm feeling by what I'm writing, if I can't tell it to someone, maybe they can read about it. So that book and the one that we're doing now, that's about an illness that I had. And first I was like,
There, real quick. I got a little picture of it.
okay.
But see,
I was really too embarrassed at first because I'm like, I don't want nobody to know my personal business, because I never told no one about this story here. But I'm like, well, I might as well do it. But I'm like, I don't know how they would judge me about it because people saw me every day. No one never knew what was really going on with me. So now they can really see who I really am. My life wasn't, I smile all the time, but they can see my life wasn't all pieces and cream. So,
right.
hmm
And that's why this book is important because a lot of times we we feel that we're inadequate because of
yeah,
things that we go through. But when
yes,
you hear someone else's story, you realize that I'm not alone. I'm not
yes,
island by myself. We all have something, and
yes,
and if they're making it, and if
yes,
they're doing something, then that might be an opportunity for you to do something as well. So
yes,
sharing the story is ministry.
yeah,
Sharing the story is being vulnerable, but I also believe that sharing the story is healing.
yes,
It's
yes,
healing. So I put this up because I wanted them to see that you're in this awesome anthology, The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness, Masking the Pain We Endure. And this book is uh, spearheaded by Nadia Manasano. I want to make sure I get her name right,
yes,
but she's awesome. So this book is amazing. It's an amazing book, and it's coming out, uh, I think, in May.
yes,
So uh, you see Dr. Blanche's email at the bottom. So if you're interested in reading her story, if you're interested in reading others' story, please go to her website and pre-order this book because this book is going to be amazing. And also you see the front part of the book, but in back of the book there's another image. That is the journal. So this book has a journal with it. So if you go on her website, you'll be able to see that her book and the journal will be there. Also, anything else that she's written would be there as well. So we want to make sure that we go and we really listen to, read, and absorb her story, and that we understand the ministry behind what she's releasing in these pages. So I'm excited to read. I really am because so many different things people go through,
yes,
and you really feel like you're inadequate.
yes,
But that's the testimony I had.
yes,
And when you know that you're not by yourself, it makes a big difference.
yes,
It makes a huge difference. And like you, I look at things in the ministry sense. I don't look at it just I always feel that God is leading and that He's unctioning through His Spirit to do these things. So I look forward to reading it. So you've been on, you have your book that you published in Amazon. You're a part of this project. You was a part of Joy 365 with Dr. Vanessa Blackwell, the journal, and the devotional book.
yes.
So you have anything else that you're a part of now?
Well, I'm a part of Marianne's book, Fearless Living,
Yes.
and 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 I do other things like I do women focused studies with my church, and I'm actually in two different classes now, one on Monday and one on Thursdays, and it's women driven, and we talk about different things. Right now, we are reading CC Winan book, Believe For It, and you know, I just keep myself busy, and I work on a crisis text hotline.
Hold on 1 second. I think
Okay,
we dipped a little bit because of the weather, but I'm
okay,
going to bring you back in because I know this bad
okay.
weather going on. So
Yes,
forgive us. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. Can you? I can hear you. Did your mic go out?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Can
you
you hear
hear me?
me?
Okay.
Yes.
No. Okay. It's a little. It's a little lower,
Okay.
but
My mic is on. You want me to cut up my volume?
let me let me try this again.
Should I talk louder?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. It's just a little lower on my on your end. I can. You're lower than we were before.
Let me.
But you know, like you said, with the storm.
I don't want to hit the wrong button, but I want to cut up the volume. Let me see. And you know, I'm a person that talks low, so I probably need to talk loud.
Wow. Oh
I don't
wow.
want to. Sometimes I can hit the wrong button and just. Let's see. Let me find my volume. My volume is all the way up.
Oh, what happened?
My volume is all the way up.
See, I don't know what happened.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear. But you're low. I'm trying to see. Hold on one second. Maybe it's on my end.
I think I hit the wrong button.
But all this will be edited, so you have to worry about. I'm gonna edit all this out.
Okay.
That's why I like to record first.
Yeah, I like when you said that part. I didn't want to go live and something going on, you know.
Right.
Hmm.
Uh. Okay. Hold on. Do it. Try this one more time. Let me see. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to that. I can hear you, but it's so low.
Well, at least we got halfway through.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that they got. See, that's the enemy. He didn't like us doing
Yeah,
it.
we talking about God.
Yeah. Settings, audio, microphone. Well, what we can do is start, and I can just say, jump back in and try
Oh,
to talk about um, the encouraging words you have for us.
yes. Are we recording yet?
We still recording. I haven't edited it out. We still
Okay.
recording, so I'm gonna
Okay.
try to. Yeah.
Okay, I got so many. Okay. So, are you ready for my
Yes.
encouraging word? Okay. My encouraging word is the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's the 23rd Psalm. And the joy of the Lord is my strength. And these are my encouraging words that I repeat each day.
The Lord is my strength.
Where the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And the joy of the Lord is my strength. Yes.
Got you. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yes.
And that's important because a lot of times we go through things in life and we feel like we just don't have joy.
Yes.
We have joy, the joy of the Lord, and that's our strength.
Yes.
So, struggle, sometimes a little struggle and joy can coexist, but you just
Yes.
lean on the joy of the Lord,
Yes.
and that's where your strength comes from.
Yes. And I added a new one. Can I tell you what it is? Blessed and unbothered. And the reason why I say unbothered because people or things in the world can just get you upset. But when you learn to have peace within and be unbothered and don't worry about it. So now, like when I usually would have responded to someone who probably would have said something to me angrily, I just think to my mind, oh, I'm just unbothered. You know,
Yes.
yeah, like I can be in the store and somebody can piss me off. So now I know how to say, oh, I'm unbothered. This doesn't bother me. So that keeps me from just being a mean person, like saying something to them. You know, I changed my way in life, and the books have helped me, to be honest with you.
And right there, that is a test for real because you have to condition yourself because
Yes. So I'm really into mental health, things like I do guided meditations, and I'm learning to be able to teach others, you know, to learn how to do these guided meditations. And that took a lot of anger out of me or depression, you know. So,
yeah.
yeah. Some people read books, you know,
But you,
to overcome, yeah.
so with all of it that you've done and with all that you're doing now, what do you think? I ain't gonna say what do you think. What does your future look like to you?
Okay, I want to do what you do. I, I actually has on my website what you see going across the screen. I have a podcast where I'm only talking to uplift people, and it's not monetized because I'm trying to work my way up to feel comfortable, you know, in monetizing it. And I also want to be able to do like you're doing, like, you know, face to face contact. So right now I'm just doing these podcasts, is hoping that it will uplift people. And I get little hits say, oh, I listened to your podcast today. Hopefully it's helping people. So that's what I plan to do, is to do the podcasting thing, and just help people wherever I see there's a need, you know.
Well, I'm almost like 100% certain and very confident that you're going to do that. If you're doing all of this, that's it. That's already in the bucket.
I'm gonna learn from
Yeah.
you.
So what is your podcast? What is the name of your podcast, and how can we listen to your
Yeah.
podcast?
It's actually on it's on Spotify, but you see my website going across the screen. When you go to my website, it'll say listen to my podcast. But I record it on Spotify, but it's called Power in the Breath. So it really started off with this speaking things out and breathing, you know. And just recently though, I did let my little nephew record something on there. He like animals, so I let him record something on there, you know, because it's, you know, it's this power in the breath, what you thinking. But the main focus was to learn you how to breathe and speak the words out,
Right.
you know. Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm
I want to make sure that I didn't know that you had a podcast.
yeah, it's not monetized yet because I just haven't done it yet, you know. But
We still want to listen. We want to
yes,
listen because I know it's a word. I know it's a
yeah,
word in there. We
yes.
want it. I want to listen. We want to listen. So
Okay, thank you, and I hope it'll help you in some form of fashion. You know, give you
and I
strength.
know that I'm sure that it will. And I
Yes,
want to thank you for sharing that with us. I'm glad that came out. I'm glad we got to talk about that because had I found out after the fact, I don't know. I would have been like, man,
yeah,
I wish I had known. So we know. That's why it's so important
yeah,
to talk and to talk about what it is that we got going on. Because some things we may say, oh, well, I'm just doing that over there, but it's so
yes.
significant though to the hearers.
It
It
helps
is so
me.
it is can be very powerful,
Yeah, it helps
especially when
me.
you're talking
Hmm.
about ministry and uplifting and
Yeah,
pouring into others.
it helps me as I help others. Because
Yes,
every now and then I have to go back to it and listen to it as well.
yes.
Yes, but it's on my website. Nadia put it on there. So when they go order my books, it'll give you a chance to listen to the podcast as well.
Yes, so we are going on the site and we are ordering books and we are listening to podcasts. So take heed. Yes, we are supporting. We want to read about her story. We want to just let those pages minister to us because I'm telling you, the book itself it's life changing.
Yes.
It's life changing to just be a part, but let alone just reading the book. It's really going to be dynamic,
Yes.
and I can't wait to read your story. So
Thank
I'm
you.
glad I don't know anybody's story, and it's like I want to read it and just be in awe at the reading it for the first time and just like wow.
Yeah. And what I will try to do, because I am a part of the women focused study, I'm going to see if I can get our person in charge of the focus study to take that particular book that we're doing now and use it as part of our focus study, where it will allow us to read each chapter of each person, put input in there, and talk about it, because it's all women in there in that particular one that we're doing. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. So I would like to see what the women in my group thinks about the book we wrote. And the good thing, our church is international, so people in the class are from all over the world. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be in that. They'll be in that study. So I will ask our coordinator, will she let us use that book that we're doing, Nadia, as part of our focus study? Maybe they might even put some in the church for people to
Yeah,
purchase. Yes.
yes, that'd be
Hmm.
great.
Yes.
Because I had the confidence in the story and the confidence in the project. I really
Yes.
have, and I'm
Yes.
very excited about it and very
Yeah.
proud to be a part of it,
Yeah.
and very proud and happy to meet you. Like
I'm
I said,
happy
we've
to.
been connected
I'm
for
happy to
a
meet
few
you.
projects, and we got a
Yeah.
chance to finally talk
Yeah. And
person to person.
whenever you came on Joy 365, I saw the God in you. I said she always say something positive. You just, to me, you just made it more happy, where I feel comfortable with you. I'm like, I just felt comfortable with you. You was nice. So when I saw you say, put your podcast out, I'm like, I can do it with her because she nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I am who I am. I thank God that I am who I am,
Yes.
and it's just who I am. A lot of times when people come in and they want to change you, especially when it comes to what you're doing, how you're doing it, your business, and they want, oh,
Yeah.
you should do it this way, you should do it that way. I gotta be who God called me to be,
Yes.
and it got me from my heart. So what I do is from my heart. Um, it's not about fat pockets and things. I mean that's
Yeah.
nice, and that would be nice,
But you
but
wearing your glory. You wearing it.
yes,
Wearing it well.
that's
You
what
are
it is. So I
you are the
appreciate
light in the room.
I appreciate that. Makes me feel. That really does make me feel
Yeah.
good.
And people used to tell me that when I was angry about something, and my coworker might say, "Well, you might not know. You might be the only light in this room." I'm like, I hope I am, but when somebody tell you you the light in the room, which you are, that's a blessing from
Thank
God.
you. That is a
Hmm.
blessing. That is
Yes,
a blessing. So
you are. You was my light, and every time I saw your name show up in one of our books that we was doing, I'm like, I'm glad she here. And Nadia, she was nice to me. Just people are nice.
okay. So you want me to cry?
No, no, no.
Because I mean, yeah,
Because we was talking in our focus study, like you might have a lady that's real pretty, but the inside messed up. So that means she's not a pretty lady. God looks at, I don't care what you look like, it's the inside that really counts. So
and that's my and that's the book. Wait, do I have a copy of it over here? I wrote a book called. I'll show you real quick.
I'm gonna have to go purchase some of your books.
Oh, excuse me. But it is so funny that when you said that, this is the book.
Oh, guess what? Is that on your website?
Yes.
Oh,
So
is
this
it
is
on?
the
Okay,
book.
I'm gonna purchase
Pretty
that.
ugly.
Hmm. I'm gonna
And
purchase.
it's
I'm gonna
just
read it, then I'm gonna
know,
pass it on. I'm gonna
and
read
that's
it,
just
and I'm gonna pass
how
it on.
divine things work. When you said
Yeah,
that, I just thought
yeah,
about it.
yes, and that's
And
what.
this is my first project, and so even with my first project, you know how you just be kind of like shy about it.
Yes, that's how I was about that Amazon book. I really didn't tell people about it, and I didn't feel. I didn't. I really didn't feel like I was good enough. Just to be honest with you, I'm like, I'm just gonna try this out. But people like you and Dr. Vanessa and Nadia, be honest with you, y'all made me feel like I was somebody.
Yeah.
And I used to like never talk because they say I had a funny voice. and I think I did a podcast with, we did the documentary, and I told I forgot who I did it with. They was like, nothing don't sound with your voice. It sound normal. But people tease me all my life. So when I'm on Zoom, sometimes I never say anything.
I never, I don't, I no,
It
I
might
never.
be
When you
look.
said
It
it, I
might
was
be
shocked
it
because
might be technology.
it sounds fine to me,
Thank
and
you,
that's
but
and that's nothing because you were so quiet. And when we be on the Zooms and stuff, I
yeah.
noticed that you wouldn't say much.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know what my voice says. Anybody listening? And I was teased a lot about it. So now with these book deals, I'm like, I don't care what they say about me no more. I feel better about
And that's
myself.
just the trick of the enemy because he knows
Yeah.
that your voice is needed and
And
your
I
voice is resonating and your voice is healing. So he
thank you.
wants he wants to use those things against us to keep us from
Thank you.
allowing God to use them to keep us sealed.
And you know what?
So that's a lot from the pit of hell because I can tell you that
I'm
I
glad you
I
said.
don't get that at all.
I'm glad you said my voice was healing because I said, well, I'm doing this podcast and I have this different voice. Maybe this is what God wanted my voice to be like. So when someone listening to my podcast, it'll give them like a soothing,
Yeah,
calming thing like that. Yeah. So I'm
yeah.
feeling good now at my age. I
So
wish I would have did it
I mean,
earlier.
you've done a lot. I mean, when I'm looking at your bio, I mean, you've done a lot to be proud of, a lot to be commended on,
Yeah.
and
I never I never tell anyone. I never brag about it. And most things like I have done, my family don't really know.
wow,
So I've been reaching out to some of my cousins who I really personally don't know, but they're my cousins on Facebook, and they giving me some good reviews. So I feel good.
yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
You definitely should. And this is like I said, this is awesome because I'm learning something so new about you. And like you said, looking at you, I'm like, okay, Dr. Ferris, and you sharing so much. And that's what I mean about giving people hope. A lot of times, they look at the fact that you're a doctor. And they
hmm
look at everything that you've done, and that could be intimidating by itself, not
yeah,
knowing that they have the same opportunity. You just got to
yeah,
believe in yourself. And we all go through things. We all have things that we struggle with, have struggled with, and probably will struggle with. But that doesn't we make the strides we need to make in our lives. And
yes,
that's why he wants to silence you. But we're not being silenced. We ain't silencing nothing. We getting ready to go. We're gonna hit the ground running. We got
yes.
some projects coming up. I'm very excited about. I'm excited to meet you face to face.
Thank
So
you.
it's
I
about to
wish
be
I would have.
awesome.
I wish I would have came to the graduation, but my mom was sick. But then I was also in that feeling, well, who cares about me? You know how I was telling you, I felt like no one really cared. So, then they said, well, you can do it virtual. So I did it virtual.
Well, I know that you was missed because I know that you were next to me. You were next to me,
Okay.
and your name was right there, and I never
See, I
forget.
should have been there. And I'm glad you encouraged me because I need to be at the next one on the 4th. You know how the devil might say, you don't need to go, you don't need to go.
Yep.
But Nadia have been so good to me, I said, I have to show up for her, you
Yes.
know.
She like
Yeah.
when she said she was taking care of us, she took care of us.
Yeah,
She's been taking care of us.
she made me feel like that I was somebody. Then she helped me, like, even though I have a doctor's degree, my writing wasn't all that good. And she helped me to be, a better writer and everything.
And that's why I like anthologies because it's an opportunity for us to help each other
Yeah.
to gain
Yeah. I learned
skills.
some stuff. People think I'm important now.
Yeah.
I'm just little old me, but they
Yep,
think,
no, you Dr. Blanche Farrish. Look,
yes. Yeah.
and when we all came together, I noticed that before we got the titles of doctor, I was like, Dr. Ferris was already a doctor. I said, I wonder what she did. So I'm looking like, wow.
Yes. Because
So you just never know
yeah.
when people there just admire you, from afar, because you're like,
Yeah.
wow, you look at someone, man, they put in a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and they've done a lot of different things. So
Yes.
you can't help but to be like, wow. So
Yes.
it's good to share the heart though as well. And
Yeah.
and that's so important to share the heart.
Yes.
And I take the
And
heart all over everything.
And when God gets the glory, that's all I try to do. And when I tear up a lot, but I'm not crying because I'm sad. I cry when I know God gets the glory. I mean, I can be looking at TV and I can see God's glory. I just look up and say, that's why I always wear glasses because my eyes puffy a lot because I cry a lot. But it's joy tears like I know God is telling me something or He got the glory or something like that.
And that's the beautiful thing. The joy
Yeah.
of the Lord is your strength.
Yes.
And that's like I said, I just thank you for sharing about your outreach ministry.
Yeah.
And if anybody's thinking about outreach ministry, I would say just do it. I said because the impact that we think is small
Yes.
means the world to someone.
Yes.
So just lead with your heart. Lead with your
Yeah.
heart. Let's gather and let's give and let's serve
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's why when I came up with the title, it's about serving from the heart, helping from
Yes.
the heart.
Yes.
That's what it's about. All the
Yeah.
things will pass away.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what you've done to help somebody along the way is going to be the pillar.
Yes.
As long as you've helped somebody along the way, your living will not be in vain.
Yes. And that's my legacy. I want to say I helped someone or I went the extra mile or well done, faithful servant. Yeah.
Well, I thank you for taking the time out today for this beautiful interview.
Thank you.
It's been amazing. And it has been amazing to finally meet you and
Thank
to
you.
just
Thank you.
share with you. And
Thank you.
I just feel honored. And I thank you for the kind words you poured into me today because
Thank you. You deserve it.
you never know when you need them. And
Yeah.
it
You
really,
deserve it.
yeah. So I'm not going to get emotional.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I'll drink my little sweet tea.
Right.
I got a lemon in it too.
So, Dr. Blanche Farrish, everyone, a woman with a heart to serve. Thank you.
You're welcome.